I've been thinking about installing the Pulsar LT for a while now, and the time has finally come. If you're new to the channel, welcome, and would love for you to join the subscriber family. Now, if you've been around the channel, you know I have installed several performance mods and even had my truck on the dyno. Not only do I like to give my real feel for products I install, but give actual evidence that they do what they're supposed to. So we will be doing just that today with this Insight CTS3 monitor. It plugs directly into your OBD2 port, and then you can hide the wire behind this fuse box panel and it will come out right here up top. The bracket installs right here on the driver assist panel, and you can adjust it to your liking. We'll use that CTS3 monitor to show us what the Pulsar LT actually does, but let's first go over the install. Make sure you disconnect the negative side of the battery. Pull the red tab up on the connector in the front of the airbox. Press the gray tab on the bottom to slide upwards towards the red tab. The connector should now come loose. Take a pick tool or flathead screwdriver to release the locking tab on the back of the connector and pull up. Install the supplied bracket, taking the nut loose on the front right of the airbox and then hand tighten. Attach the factory connector, sliding the back on the locking tab, and make the connection to the inline harness. Take the inline harness and attach it where the factory connector was, pushing the back of the connector on the locking tab. Connect the factory harness to the inline harness, push down on the gray outer slide, and then push the red tab down. Reconnect the battery and you're good to go. I routed the wires for the harness down through here, and it comes up right there, and I attached it to the back of the headlight. Now, I've seen some people install it on their airbox, but that just doesn't make sense to me because you've got to clean your air filter every so often, so I don't want to have to deal with taking that off the box. It fits perfectly right here. Before going over the functions of the Pulsar LT, I want to give a big shout out to Real Truck for sponsoring today's video and sending this product out for me to give my honest review on. If you haven't heard of Real Truck, it is your one-stop shop for truck accessories, and the brands they own are some of the best on the market. Now that we've got it installed, hold down the push button to turn on accessory, but don't crank the truck. Hold down the cruise cancel button on the steering wheel, and then you'll see the speedometer do a sweep to 140 and then come back. Now that you're in the menu, 10 adjusts the speed limiter. We press the cruise cancel, and now you can adjust from 82 to 140 miles per hour. Once you set that to the desired speed, hit cruise cancel again, and then you're good to go. 20 is the TPMS adjustment, so if you want to change that, you can. 30 is for the tire size. Let's go into that. We'll hit cruise cancel. The first number you'll see is the factory tire size. 32 is what mine was, so I'll hit cruise cancel. The next screen is the decimal point, so I'm just gonna leave it at 32. We'll hit cruise cancel again. The next set of numbers is your modified tire size. Now, I did find an accuracy issue with this. My tire size is 34.84, so I set it to 34.8, and going by the GPS, it was still off a little bit. I called Edge and they said, you just gotta finagle with the numbers, and that's what I did. I landed on 34.0, and that seems to be correct with the GPS. So we'll hit cruise cancel on that. Now our modified tire size is done. Back on the main menu, 40 is to adjust axle ratio, which we'll not be doing today, and then 50 is to clear your DTCs. Now going up to 60 is to turn off auto stop start. So if we get into that, we'll hit the cruise cancel. It'll do another sweep to the 140. The first thing you'll see is 0. That means auto stop start is enabled. So if you flip this up one time, it'll go to 10 miles per hour. If you hit cruise cancel, that will disable the auto stop start. So you saw it turn off, and our button is now turned off. Saving the best for last is the 70 mile per hour range, and that is your all-time V8 mode. We'll click into that, and I've already got it set to 10 mile per hour, which disables the DFM. But if you want to re-enable it, you just go down to 0. But we don't want that, so let's go back up to 10 and hit cruise cancel. So the big question is, will this void your warranty? No, it will not, but I would not recommend leaving it in line if you've got a warranty issue and you're taking your truck into the dealership. As far as state inspections, I've been told that you could possibly fail with this inline, so you'll want to take that out, drive around for about 100 miles. Luckily in my state, I don't have to worry about inspections. Well, I've got a 2-year-old and it's now time to go to Sesame Street Live. So as soon as I get back from that, I'll hop in the truck. We'll see what this Pulsar LT can do. As we get going on the interstate, you can see our corrected speed is 74 miles an hour, and on the bottom left corner, you see the speed is 67. So that's great that we have the tire size changed. As far as disabling DFM, you can see that we are in 10th gear, and it's got all 8 cylinders on the right side of the screen. So that shows that this Pulsar LT does disable the DFM and it is working correctly. I went ahead and re-enabled the DFM so we can take a look on the monitor and see the combinations that it comes up with. Driving right now, we're at 4 cylinders. If we hit the gas a little bit, it goes back up to 8 and it will just self-adjust. Now it's back down to 4. If I give it a little bit of gas, now it's a 6-cylinder. So you can see how that dynamic fuel management just does a bunch of different combinations, and there's 5 cylinders. Now you can drive around in L9 and that will also disable the DFM, but it's great having that 10th gear back because you'll get a little bit of gas savings being able to use all the gears. By driving in L9, the highest it'll go is the 9th gear. You lose the 10th, but you can see that it still disables the DFM and you've only got 8 cylinders. So that's a great free bypass of the DFM if you don't care about having that 10th gear. Our accelerator pedal position is in the bottom right corner. I'm gonna try to hold that steady. Let's go up to power level 1, which brings it down to 16%. So let's bump it up to 2, goes up to 30, 3, 37, 4, 50, and 5, 62. So it really does work. I was not pressing down on the pedal anymore. I was trying to hold it as steady as I can, and this shows that those power levels does adjust the pedal position. I'm not really crazy about where power level 1 is because that decreases the throttle response. I really wish that it was 0 and factory was your #1 power level, because it's kind of awkward going through those, decreasing and then increasing. So that's one change I would make to the Pulsar LT. We're gonna see what having 2 throttle response controllers can do. I've got the Jet Performance accelerator. I've bumped it up to position 4. And now on the power level, I'm gonna bump that up to 2, 3, 4, and 5. And I don't recommend having 2 throttle response controllers because when you barely touch the gas, it just goes crazy. It's basically like having full throttle as soon as you touch the accelerator pedal. Having a throttle response controller does not add power, but it sure does make the drive a lot more fun. Ooh. I would not suggest leaving it in #5 for your daily drive, but that's just the fun mode. Now that I've showed you all the features and functions of the Pulsar LT, is it worth it? I put together a little chart here. The Pulsar LT comes right in at $547. I picked a popular throttle response controller, which is the pedal commander. It comes in at $300, and a DFM disabler, which comes right in at about $237. The DFM disabler that I chose was by the same company because it's one of the more popular ones. So with the Pulsar LT, you get all these functions: the DFM disable, auto start stop, the throttle response controller, you can adjust your tire size, speed limiter, TPMS, and your gear ratio. And the good thing about the Pulsar LT is that it's under the hood and it's hidden. And you've got those built-in steering wheel controls. Now, if you were to get like a pedal commander, and if you only cared about throttle response controller, I don't really like this one because you've got to mount it somewhere on the dash. It just looks a little tacky. Like I said, this is hidden, this is tacky. Now, DFM Disabler, if you just wanted that, the only bad thing about it is it takes up the OBD2 port. So if you had like amp power boards or something like that, you'd have to get a splitter and it would just kind of be a mess. So I really can't say if it actually is worth it because it depends on what features and functionality you're looking for, but I'm glad that I was able to at least have that CTS monitor to show you that the Pulsar LT does what it says it does. Now you can buy the Pulsar LT separate, or you can buy the Edge Insight CTS3 as a package deal. You don't have to have this in order for you to get all the functionality of the Pulsar LT, but this is a really cool device to have if you really enjoy monitoring all the different PIDs from your OBD2 port. I appreciate y'all watching this. If there's any questions you have and something I didn't cover, make sure to leave a comment below and I'll try to get back to you. Until next time, we'll see y'all.